Meanwhile, even in that report, which we presented to Mike Pence, it was stated very clearly that overall, the total number of Muslims that died was more than the total number of Christians that died. That's a fact. It's in the report. This issue is going to be solved. Finally, something is going to happen. And the reason people seem to think that finally something is going to happen is because apparently Trump supposedly is somebody who means business. And it's very easy to disprove by, again, just looking at the historical data. Because yes, Trump did make certain comments during his first term, and he did confront Buhari in the White House and say, why are you killing Christians? And yes, that did happen. But after he did that, what happened? It's as simple as that. It's as simple as answering that question. What happened after he did that? He asked that question, he made that statement, and what happened next? Absolutely nothing. Because there was no, regardless of whatever sentiment he might have felt, or regardless of whatever sentiment might have been fed to him by the Christian nationalists that he surrounds himself with, regardless of whatever sentiment there was no geostrategic value in sending troops to Nigeria or threatening to send troops to Nigeria. So he did nothing. So the only reason why violent militaristic threats are being made now is because the geostrategic calculation has changed. So again, it really has nothing to do with whether Trump places any value on the lives of Nigerian Christians or not, because I assure you he doesn't, right? I'm going to say this very plainly. Donald Trump is a racist. Donald Trump does not believe that my life has value. My name might be David, I might come from a Christian family. That makes no difference to him. I'm just a Black person from Africa. That's the reality. And I think a lot of people need to come to terms with that reality, that sharing a religion with people who do not see you as fundamentally human doesn't make any difference to how they see you. They can share your religion with you and still think that you are less, you have less value than the pets they keep in their house. And that's the reality of people like Donald Trump. So if he says something, it's because there is a certain value in him saying it right now. It is not because he means what he's saying. Trump is just like any other politician. He's not different in any way. So people need to wake up from that fevered delusion. Now, you also mentioned that some would say that, yes, regardless of anything that can be said about geopolitics or anything that, well, this person is giving voice and something is going to change. Well, it's very unfortunate for them that, again, if we examine the historical record, when has that ever happened? When has something ever changed because a certain person made a certain comment? Nigeria has been placed on this countries of particular concern list before. In 2020, I would know because I was involved in that process at that time. I was part of the research team that put together the document that was presented to Mike Pence and Mike Pompeo, which became the basis for that designation. Now, obviously, I didn't have the level of geopolitical awareness now that I had then that I have now. So perhaps I didn't understand the full ramification of what I was involved in, and essentially the implications of getting a foreign government to sanction your own government. I didn't fully understand the full implications then. But even then, I think if people actually read that report and understood what that report actually said, not what they think it said, they would have realized that a lot of these notions and conceptions they had were simply not true. First of all, this idea, this meme that is being floated around, this very destructive idea that there is a village and there are Christians and there are Muslims in that village. And then these attackers come and they ignore all the Muslims and they go and massacre all the Christians, which you might find that hilarious. But to a very large part of the Nigerian population, that's the idea they have in their head, that that's what happens. That these, unknown gunmen, terrorists, whatever you call them, they go around the north interviewing people to find out who is Muslim and who is not Muslim, and then carefully massacring Christians and leaving the Muslims alone. Meanwhile, even in that report, which we presented to Mike Pence, it was stated very clearly that overall, the total number of Muslims that died was more than the total number of Christians that died. That's a fact. It was stated very clearly that overall, the total number of Muslims that died was more than the total number of Christians that died. That's a fact. It's in the report. So again, I wish people would be more concerned about taking in actual data and information than just forming opinions based on thoughts and feelings that they have inside their head, because that seems to be a lot of what I'm observing around me. And unfortunately, we're entering a very dangerous part of modern history now, where whether we accept it or not, there's a huge global war coming, and everyone is picking sides. Lines are being drawn in the sand. Some of our neighbors, like in the Sahel, have already picked sides. We have not picked a side, and we're having a side picked for us without our consent. And we don't seem to understand how dangerous a situation that is. And I really wish we did.
Right. I mean, you earlier on started the conversation about